Hello, fellow cyborgs, and welcome to the last day of the book review extravaganza. I hope you have enjoyed this week's worth of book reviews, and I hope you do enjoy today's video as well. I've had so much fun celebrating the over 2,000 of you who have chosen to subscribe to my channel and hang around in this corner of the internet. So thank you very much for sticking around and being supportive and having lovely things to say in the comments. I'm really glad that it seems that I'm making a positive influence in some of your lives. That's pretty much all I can ask for. Job well done, bucket list gone, I can just die happy any minute. But please, not anytime soon, knock on wood. Okay, fairies? Not asking for this. Long life, please. Relative health? Potential happiness? That's what I actually want. Speaking of fairies, today we are going to be talking about Among Others by Jo Walton. But before I get any further and any more blathery, book haiku. Build bookish armor, hide amongst the pages' spines. They provide escape. I read Among Others in 2013 and really enjoyed it. Obviously, it's here on Favorites Week. This got 5 out of 5 stars. Interestingly, I tried to reread it last year, I think, and I only got through halfway. Now, I was in a really bad headspace, so this wasn't what I wanted at the time, so I put it down. So I haven't actually fully reread this. However, I definitely want to in the future. That's why it's a favorite. That's why I have a physical copy. And funnily enough, I first read Among Others with a library copy that smelled heavily of incense. So I kind of am sad that my personal copy doesn't smell like incense because it was kind of an interesting and nice experience reading that first copy. But in any case, Among Others follows Maury. This is an epistolary novel. Maury is writing a journal. Maury has recently moved to an English boarding school from Wales. She believes her mother to be some sort of dark sorceress, black magic witch. She and her twin sister had to face battle with her mother, leaving Maury crippled and her twin sister dead. So now she's at this English boarding school under the care of her father, who she doesn't really know very well. One of her legs pains her and she has to walk around with crutches or a cane. She's Welsh in this English boarding school. She doesn't fit in at all, and she feels like her mother is still trying to get to her. So she's a completely alienated person in this new world that she has no ties to. Maury and her twin sister were able to communicate with the fairies in Wales, and so Maury occasionally tries to ask the English fairies for help or guidance when dealing with her evil mother. So this is kind of magical realism, simply because there are little bits of magic, but you're never quite sure if they're actually there or if Maury's just somehow imagining something or talking about it in terms of magic and fairies so that she can process the horrors that is her body not being the same ever again and her twin sister being dead. But the thing that I love most about Among Others, and the thing that just I think it will get a lot of you, is that this is a book for book lovers. This is a book about books. So among her journal entries, Maury tells you what she's reading and what she thinks about it. A lot of them are classic sci-fi and fantasy titles, and the first time I read this, I think I added at least 50 things to my TBR just from what Maury was telling me about them. Authors like James Tiptree Jr., Samuel R. Delany, Ursula K. Le Guin. She talks about Tolkien and Frank Herbert. It's just so much fun to hear her talk about the book she's reading because her leg has been damaged and gives her lots of pain. She doesn't have to do PE, so instead she just goes to the school library and just voraciously reads everything she can get her hands on, and she reads so quickly. It's one of her escape mechanisms and one of the ways for her to feel safe. She also ends up at some point going into town and engaging engaging with the library there and learning about the magic of interlibrary loans, and eventually even joins a book club there. It's just so delightful. Mori is such a complicated character and someone that I really empathize with. She never really feels a part of the boarding school and, you know, part of England. I mean, she's Welsh, but she does end up somehow cobbling together a bit of a family for herself. So don't worry, it's not all bleakness. Not that this book really looks like it's going to be bleak, right? It's just a wonderfully quiet story that balances journal entries with little small instances with the Fae world, with the book reviews and talking about books and loving books and getting to make friends, learning about like the social aspects of the boarding school she's living in, and dealing with your parents, whether they are magically evilly inclined or just distant and don't know how to be a father. It's just really, really good. It's a wonderful sort of book to cozy up with around the holiday season or during autumn. It's just something that'll be quiet and won't make you feel too incredibly, you know, gleeful, too incredibly sad. It just is a calm and quiet book that's just the epitome of lovely. So read this book if you like reading about English boarding schools, and if fairies happen to happen in there every once in a while, you're just totally game. Read this book if you want some traditional science fiction and fantasy recommendations and just hear about all sorts of books and book reviews. And read this if you, like me, love epistolary style novels, because that just adds so much to the reading experience. It really brings you closer to Mori, and I just think is the best way that this story could have been told. After I read this, I've looked into Jo Walton's other works. I've read Tooth and Claw, which is a fantasy of manners with dragons. I've also read What Makes This Book So Great, which is a collection of blog posts she wrote for Tor about her experiences over a couple years of rereading books. So it's kind of like more Mori with book reviews and talking about books I have or have not heard about. I have a couple of Jo Walton's other works on my TBR, not physical TBR, but virtual Goodreads and mental TBR that I'm eventually going to get to. This just was the perfect introduction to Jo Walton for me, and I think it might be for you as well. Thank you for watching this book review, and if you have stuck around the entire week of the book review extravaganza, again, I am so grateful to have over 2,000 of you here watching me and commenting and liking my videos. It just makes me feel important. I don't want to sound, pompous about that, but I think a lot of people in the world don't feel like they're important enough of the time. So I just wanted to let you guys know that you are positively affecting my life, making me feel like I'm doing something and like I matter, and I really can't communicate how significant that is. So as much as you love watching my videos, I love making them and seeing the reception that you have for them. So it's just a barrel of huzzah, isn't it? Both of us getting something good out of the situation. Well, I think I've blathered on long enough. I hope that these book review videos have satiated your want of more videos from me, though I am going to be working on more, so worry not, I will be back sooner than you think. And until next time, please continue to be lovely. You are just wonderful.